So, how are we all going? There's a reason why I've got this hoodie on and I'm playing that music. As you can see, we're in the room of where it all began and where it almost all ended at the same time. Just going to turn this down. So I'm going to take this off as I go through, because when I was going through my dark time, and the reason why I'm doing this live stream where we're at now is that obviously I've done a lot of teaching, I've done a lot of preaching and inspiring from around the world, yeah? And where you can see now, this is my old bedroom. It's my old bedroom. That's my bed that I laid in, and I'll take you for a bit of a tour around the room. And so the reason why, again, I had my hoodie on for 6 months, I would wear a hoodie. I had a beard, and yeah, it's like to be here. Honestly, it is emotional, and you know, and it's yeah, and that's true. And I do feel sad because, you know, I know how far I've come, but a lot of people have said, Lee, was your life really that bad? You know, did you really go through those things? I do need to take this hoodie off. It's not me anymore. It just felt wrong, but I would wear a hoodie everywhere. It didn't matter how hot it was. It didn't matter where I went, and I'd have this hoodie on, and I grew this beard because I was hiding. Yeah, I was hiding. On the outside, I looked like this big man, but I was this boy that was hiding inside. And as I'll move out the way, I laid in that bed. It could easily be for 3 days at a time, not moving. Some days I wouldn't eat. Some days I wouldn't even, I would take sleeping pills and just sleep. And as you can see, there's a TV over here. There's a TV in that over here. And I would just watch movie after movie after movie, yeah? And if people don't really know my story, and I'll tell you where it happened, and really this is where I tried to take my life twice. I tried to overdose. I remember I fell over that TV. I remember there was self-harm. I even had police storm in here because my parents, I was very not violent on anyone. Violent, I broke things, smashed holes in walls, and yeah, it wasn't cool. I had the ambulance and the paramedics coming here to sedate me, and how everyone. I'll get to everyone's messages. I just want to keep things rolling through. And so for 6 months, I had this hoodie on, yeah? And I would sit like this, and I had my family. So I'd have my auntie and uncle that I love dearly. I'd have my parents that I love dearly. I had, people would come and talk to me, but I wouldn't speak. I was that emotionally retarded, as people called it, or as the doctors call it. And I wouldn't say. People would talk to me, and I could see them, but I was that trapped in my pain. I was that trapped in my anger that, when you try to remember something, you go, oh, geez, what was that? That's how I responded, and I didn't speak for 6 weeks. Like I said, I grew a beard. For me not to train for a day or two, I didn't train for 6 to 12 months. Again, I was taking a lot of antidepressants. I was taking sleeping pills. And this is where I basically stayed, and I rotted in this room for 1 year. And where this happened was that I was an inspiring footballer. I was an inspiring athlete. I played college basketball in America. I've always been fit. Of one of my mates who's an actual professional model for Dolce & Gabbana and DC. Hey everyone, I'll get through to everyone in America. Thank you for all being on. I really appreciate it. And I remember I trained with him for 2 years, and he went on to awesome. I'll get to everything in a moment. And he went on to be an inspiring model. He went on to be an inspiring person, and we trained for 2 years non-stop. And I kid you not, everyone said, Lee, man, you're going to be an outstanding bodybuilder or sports star. But because my mind wasn't there, because I wasn't confident enough, I didn't get on stage. I didn't pursue my goals. I could have played, I played for Williamstown. I could have played in the first for Collingwood, but I just didn't take that next step. I played college basketball. I could have got drafted in the NBA. I played a game for Melbourne Tigers. I could have played in the NBA, but I just didn't take that next step. So as this time went on, I just, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't know what was going on. I was just basically looking for the next party. And that was fun in the time. And, you don't need to worry about money. You didn't have too many responsibilities, so on and so forth. And obviously the drug scene is very, and the party scene is just very now, just boom, just let's just go out, let's go party and so on and so forth. And I was going out and on stage next year. That's right, Leroy. So I didn't know anything about mindset. I wasn't thinking about the future. I come from a beautiful family. They give me absolutely everything. Like, I'm back here now. Like, if people are going on, this is the room I told you where a lot of bad stuff went down. This is where I tried to commit suicide twice. This is just, it's not, I won't call it, it's not really a bad thing, but even being here, I'm like looking over my shoulder because it feels like there's someone standing there. I'm really, really conscious about energy. How are you guys? Thanks for getting on. Really appreciate it. And so let's fast forward a few years. And I met a partner of mine, and I was in retail. I hated the job. I hated getting treated like I was this big. I hated people talking down to me because I always knew there was an inner leader in here. There was someone that was destined for greatness. There was someone that was there to lead people. There's someone in here to take people from the darkness and throw them into the light. Someone to stand up for someone. I knew that I wasn't just normal. I knew I was destined for greatness. And it wasn't that I wanted to be the best. I wanted to create people to be the best. Yeah, I wanted to lead people. Put charging bulls there, and I'll be at the front of the pack. And I always knew that. Even when I was at jobs, when people say stand there, wear this, do that, and that, these people weren't leaders. They were managers. And through my life, I would do this with so many of the managers. And I'm like, do I have a anger management, or do I have some sort of fucking behavioral disorder? But it was the managers, but I got along with everyone. Got along with the girls really good. I was got along with the guys. I was really popular. But when it came down to the management, when it came down to the people that I knew that weren't real leaders, it was just getting to the point when, hold on a second, there's something going on here. And that was really, I really battled with my career because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And obviously Monday would come, and recovering from the parties, you're coming down off your head on drugs. Then obviously it came to the point when you recover Wednesday and Thursday. Awesome stuff. Awesome. I'm going to go through everyone's stuff at the end. I'm going to scroll down and go over all that. And then what happened was that I would recover from partying and coming down off these drugs, and then Thursday feel a bit fresh, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boom, we partied there, partied to Sunday and so on, or to Monday, I should say. So anyway, through this process, I met a girl, which was my ex-fiance, and it was a tug of war. It was a fucking quite a toxic relationship. I was in the party scene as well, which was fantastic when you're on drugs and all that. Yeah, hey, let's be best friends and fucking mad sex and all that stuff. But when you come down, it was like you wanted to kill each other, and it was just, it wasn't cool. Then what happens? You weren't making money, this and that. It was a downward spiral, but it was like, oh, let's go and party. Let's just all get high. So that's basically what happened for a few years until we started to remove ourselves. And in Melbourne, what happens in Melbourne? Everyone, it's a party scene, yeah? Where's the next party? What drugs are you taking? Where are you doing? What are this? Like, do you want a pill? Do you want some coke? Do you want whatever? And it was for those 5 years, it was quite cool. You'd go to a party, you do recovery, and you're in the in crowd, and everyone it was this very addictive environment, yeah? So that was my time when, okay, cool, I was still training a little bit, but it was just the now. It was just the circle. It was just like, okay, cool, let's just do what we're doing now. There was no outside. There was no mindset, so on and so forth. Exactly, life experiences where you are today. And lucky I got my party out of me, because there's some married men that go out and party, that go and cheat on their wives, that go and take drugs, that go and do that while they're married. Do you know what I mean? So that's cool, guys, and I'll get back to all the messages soon. So through this time and period, and things started to go really cool. I came into some money I subdivided some land around in Craigieburn, and I got a fair bit of money coming into me, and we sort of pulled away from the party scene. And me and my partner, we started to come together a little bit, yeah? And we started to connect. And it was like, okay, cool, maybe this is right. Maybe this is the right partner for me. And I was with her for 9 years. So I ended up proposing to her. I had a house, I had land. Like I said, I sold the land, got some money for it. You know, we had a place, then we're going to move to Richmond, and we had a display home, which the people from the display place, they were renting it out. And at the time, I'm like, fuck, you know what? This is what life's meant to be. Things seem to be going okay. You know, she seemed to be happy, put a nice rock on her finger. We had the place. And then we said, because I was working at Crown, she was working in Chapel Street, I said, why don't we move in the city? So we had a bit of extra money and we got a really nice place at the end of Bridge Road in River Street, an apartment that was right on the water. And I thought it's close to work. I was running to the Crown Casino. But in this time and period, what will happen before this, if you go back a little bit, I was working I was doing my electrical apprenticeship. And I was doing an apprenticeship which I had no fucking interest for, yeah? I don't like the tradie mentality. Yeah, they're very, hey, yeah, fucking, you know what I mean? They're not, it's just that redneck bitching mentality, very rough and ready. And for me, I didn't like it. But I put myself into it, and because it's a trade, yeah? I'll force myself. And every day I'd go to do this trade, and I had anxiety. And I used to think about, oh, fuck, okay, I'll be okay. And these people, because I was an adult apprentice. And here I am, 25, and I'm getting people to say, clean that up, do that, do this, do that, fucking clean that. I said, hold on a second. I'm not a cleaner. I'm an adult apprentice. So treat me like one. And they wouldn't say anything to me because they were shit scared, but they would tell the manager. So then all this fucking stuff was happening. And this is what happens in the jobs. This is what happens in the first place. This is why people, and it was all this fucking bullying. I was bullied. They couldn't say it to my face because I'm 25 years old. I was in the best shape of my fucking life. And these Muppets were doing this, yeah? And this is what was going on. Look, I know there's people here that are tradies and there's nothing against this. I just don't like the environment, yeah? Not everyone's like that. Or my uncle, my cousin and that, they're amazing tradies, builders, but I'm just saying in the whole mentality, yeah? You think girls are bitchy? Go on a fucking trading site. Guys are fucking 10 times worse. So that was something that I was dealing with. I was having anxiety. I was going to work. And then I remember one of my ex-bosses, to put this all in perspective, one of my ex-bosses, I was supposed to be put on as a trade assistant, yeah? I was supposed to be put on. Cut a long story short, what happened was I was supposed to do 9 months as a trade assistant, and that's cool, Dougie. Some tradies are cool, man. So I was supposed to do 9 months as a trade assistant, and he was supposed to put me on the books. What happened was, so I would work, and then he didn't have me on the books as an apprentice. So that time that I spent with him wasn't even on the books to get my time to get my A grade as a Sparky. So we were about to get married. So I proposed to my partner, and we had all this money put out. And this boss, this is why you need to protect yourself, people. This is why you need to look after you, because no motherfucker is going to look after you. Maybe some friends and other people. You are just another number in the workforce, yeah? You are just a pawn. You're a slave. This guy put me in, and I was the best worker. I was there early. I was working in a place in Thomastown, and I was absolutely smashing it. And again, I was an adult apprentice. And this is the thing that I couldn't understand. At work, I was the scum. I was the bottom of the bottom, yeah? Which they thought. When I left work, most of my mates own clubs. Most of my mates drive fucking amazing cars. They own restaurants. There were some fucking crazy motherfuckers in Melbourne. And when I came to work, I felt this big. I had anxiety. I couldn't say what I wanted to say. I built up this complex. That's when I started to build up. I lost my confidence. I wasn't speaking. I would go red in the face. Like I'll be talking to someone and I stutter because these motherfuckers bullied me and they put me down. But the thing is, I'm 6'2", yeah, and I'm 110 kilos. These guys, if I wanted to, and the thing what I hated was that I was controlled and restricted, because if I said anything back, workforce, they weren't leaders, they were managers. But once I left, I'm hanging out. A lot of my friends are successful. They're very rich. They will do it. And they put me up on a pedestal. So I was having this massive fucking battle going to work with these peasants that were bullies. When I was leaving work, what do I do? Do I do what these guys are doing, which isn't legal, but some are, and the rest of that? And I was having this massive like conflict of interest, yeah? And then it was just like, fuck. I would even go out and party more because I wanted to get away from that environment. So in Melbourne and that, you know, through school and that, everyone was a great environment. Everyone's fucking high off your life. You know, there was no fights. It was fantastic. Smile on your face. The only problem Monday when you're coming down, you came down with a stack head on your head, yeah? And everyone wasn't the fucking friendliest then. But I was having this massive tug of war in my life. So what happened was that this boss didn't put me through. So he didn't have me on the books. For those 9 months were wasted. At the end of it all, he decides to say there's no more work when we're getting married. This job was everything to me. It was my lifeline. And I said to him, hey, and I won't say his name, I say to him, man, I'm about to get married. How can you do this? Firstly, I'm not going to be getting my job. Sorry, I'm not going to be getting my A grade. And now you're taking the job away from me. How can you do this? He goes, just suck it up, mate. That's the way life is. Fucking suck it up. He goes, go and work at a petrol station. I don't know. Get out of my office, mate. Just fuck off. That's exactly how he spoke to me. To top it off, I'm like, man, what do you want me to do? I said, I don't have any. I need this job, mate. I need this job. We're about to get married. Like, you know, and you know what he did? He grabbed me, took me into the staff room where there's 50 men, 50 fucking redneck tradies, yeah? Then what he done is he goes, hey guys, do you have any dog shit or something to go and sweep up the floor or go and do something around in the house? Lee fucking, he's complaining, mate. Get him out of my fucking hair. Yeah? He said that to me. And I'm gonna tell you something about this guy. This guy does he's in the multi-marketing, network marketing business that we do, yeah? One of them. And he was one of the, what do they call it? The ones that lose the weight. Fucking, someone, you know, anyway, he was there. He saw me 2 years ago at Celebration. Celebration is the get-together. He saw me, and he's lost this weight because he used to be this fat little troll, and he ran the other way. I was going to go up to him and shake his hand, yeah? I actually sent him a text message and said, you know what, man? You actually did me a favor. At the time, I was going to put you into a van. No, not Herbalife, it's Isogenics. One of the things, not the biggest loser, but help me out here, Grant. You're with Isogenics, or you were. No, it's so he was doing it, and he was one of the guys that was up on stage because he lost so much weight. So on. And I did. We're back? Cool. Back then, and this is, look, I'm not just saying this, I'm being serious. This is how I was becoming mentally unwell. I organized, it's a 16-week challenge, that's it. I organized Isobody, thank you, Lee. I organized me and my friends that I was hanging around with him to, when he was going to come out there, say, firstly, I'll tell you how it unfolded. When he said that, and I'm basically on my knees saying, brother, I'm getting married, man. He goes, well, fucking, that's the way it is. The cookie crumbles. Just get out of my office, mate. I'm fucking busy. And I had tears in my eyes. And I'm like, man, how can you do this? I've been with you. He goes, well, we've got no work. What can you do? What can you do? I said, I'm not going to even get my A grade. I go, that's illegal. You didn't put me on the books as an apprentice, and you put me as a trade assistant. I said, man, I've never begged, yeah? But I tell you what went through my head. I was going to punch him that hard, I would have fucking crushed his skull. And I'm going to tell you what I organized. I organized me and some friends, because I hung around with some fucking bad people. We were going to put him in a van, cuff him, and fucking go and bury him somewhere in Kilmore. Yeah? And I've told this to people, so I'm not shy about saying it. I'm being honest. We even went there to the point where we went where he worked, and it was going to be done. But at the last minute, I pulled out, yeah? We organized it. It was going to happen. This is how bad it was. This is fucking, do you know what I'm saying? This is, I'm being very honest with everyone, you know? So, after that, I've come back and I'm like, because I'm a very proud man, and I'm like putting out all this money for the wedding and going that, and my ex-partner, she says to me, what the fuck are you doing? What's that happening? What did you do at work? Blame, blame, blame. Oh, fuck, you're pathetic. I got the short straw out of all my girlfriends. Oh, this, that. Let alone we're living in Richmond in a beautiful apartment. We had an investment house, which we're going to move into later once that was a display home in Craigieburn, and we have property. And we're living a fucking great life. You know what I'm saying? What is it? Concrete boots and a dip in the Yarra. Very true, man. Very true. And But I wasn't a joke. I'm telling you, I organised it. We had it, and we fucking. I basically drove past, and anyway, that's the old me. So I'm giving you an understanding. I don't say this to get for shit and giggles. It's the truth. Yeah, you're in the room where fucking all the shit happened as well. So, cut a long story short, I was talking to my partner. We started fighting. She's like, "Oh, what the fuck are you gonna do? Get a job? Blah blah blah." And so then I thought about. I spoke to someone. They said, "Hey man, why don't you do?" Because I've done security before. Because obviously my stature, and I've done bodyguard work. So cut a long story short, I was like through this, and my partner fucking putting me down, calling names, this and the rest of that. We got to the point when it was just like I started to become in my shell. I lost my way. I couldn't express myself, so on and so forth. And it really, really got me to a point when I was, do you know what I mean? I started to isolate myself from society. But being at the Crown Casino, it's like, just let me turn this on, my computer just turned off. Being at the Crown Casino, you're around so many people. Yeah, it's one of the most sociable places. I call it the cesspit of Melbourne. All the shit seems to funnel from everywhere at the Crown because it's right in that central part. So anyway, I end up getting a job there, and I end up doing that. Plus, because I'm a people's person, I really got along with not the managers. 11 years of security, bro. Cert 3, bodyguard. Awesome, same. So what we did was, I end up not doing security. Sorry, this room is spooky. It keeps feeling like something touched me on the shoulder. That is quite spooky. So what happened was I ended up making really good friends with the CEO, yeah? I ended up making friends with the Packers and Packers butler. And I'm thinking, why am I connecting with the people at the top? Got invited to private dinners, got invited to all these things, yeah? And at the same time, this was all going on, and then I had to report down to, as I called, managers. And I couldn't compute that, do this, stand there, wear that, and they weren't using me as with my skills. They knew that, I'm not a fighter, but I'm quite intelligent in some ways, and I'm a people's person. I knew a lot of people in Melbourne, so I could diffuse a lot of things because they knew me. Hey man, hey, just chill out, boom, boom. I knew a lot of the bikies being involved in. I knew a lot of the, so-and-sos or whatever, and you could really diffuse problems instead of going in with force and everyone getting hurt. So I got quite successful quite quick there. And I started working at the Premium Club 23, and I was a private bodyguard for and a lot of people would come in and they wanted to work with me, and so on and so forth. And that's it, Devil and Angel Amelia, exactly. I'm going to tell you about it a bit more. So as this was happening, and again, I started getting quite successful, I started to do a Sparky role. So they said, hey man, because you can do multitask at the Crown. So I was doing my bodyguard, plus I was working Club 23, doing some floor stuff, and I was working, and I was doing that, and so on and so forth. So I'm doing 2 jobs, and I'm putting in a lot of time and effort, yeah? And that is at work. So what happened was, yeah, Jake and Alex Mack, that's it. So you know them, mate. Mark, good stuff. So what happened was, when I went back to my fiance, that wasn't good enough. I'm doing 2 jobs, getting good money. I would work during the day sometimes, so then when the grandmas are there, their teeth would be fucking falling out, yeah? It was boring, so then we could spend time together. She didn't want to marry a security guard. She was getting the nice things, we had the nice cars, we're living in Richmond, but it still wasn't good enough. Let's forward it a couple months. Every day we're going like this. So a place where you'd want to be comfortable would be going back to your partner, yeah? A place you couldn't, you wanted the world to be burning, but you go back to your woman, your queen, you cuddle and you feel right, you feel safe. That wasn't the part, yeah? My ex, it was just destroying me to the point I started to internally question myself. I started to internally lose myself. I started to, my confidence, just even driving, someone would bib the horn, so on and so forth. I just started losing myself completely because she just kept putting me down. 1 month before we're going to get married, yeah, I called it off. Kicked her out of the apartment, said all this stuff, the rest of it, and that's when it all started, yeah? That's when it all started. From that time, of having someone for 9 years in your life and knowing that she's not going to be the mother of my kids, she can't be part of my family. I'm European, so it's all about connection. It's all about family. It's all about love. It's all about unity. And I'm like, nah, you know, she's not going to be the partner of my kids. Oh, sorry, she's not going to be the wife, and she's not going to be the partner for the rest of my life. And sorry about this. It is something that, you know, really sort of hits a raw nerve. So what happened was, we did not speak when we broke up. We did not speak through, even we haven't spoken since that day. I actually saw her last time I come to Melbourne at my mate's club, which was another story, you know, and this is when you do all this work, how you can just completely connect. What happened was, I started going on a massive downward spiral. I lost my way, negative thoughts, and I was just like, I'm lost. What am I going to do? This is where it happens to people right now, yeah? This is where it's not depression, it's not bipolar. One negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, negative thought. You start thinking crazy things. I'm never going to be happy again. I'm never going to be with a woman again. I don't have anything to do. What's going on? Is she right? I think she is. You know, she said that I'm crazy. She said that I'm pathetic. She did shit. You know, I don't have a great job. I am a thug. I'm this and that. I started to believe all that fucking shit that she said. And I started to destroy myself. I would close the windows. I wouldn't go to work. I would stay in the room. It was pitch black. You know, I would just eat junk food. I would get people to drop off drugs, and I'd just be sitting in the lounge room, you know, watching movies, having drugs, not going to work, drinking. What sort of life is that? I'll answer everyone's questions in a minute. And luckily, my parents were like, hey, man, you're not going to work. What are you doing? Rah, rah, rah. And, you know, I'm paying big money for both of these places. We're starting to go out. Her mum and her, they took me to the absolute cleaners. You know, I lost close to 850 grand. Just everything started crumbling. And then my dad said, hey, man, you're not safe here. What are you doing, Lee? So he talked to work, and basically I had to have leave off because I was having a mental breakdown. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going backwards. I don't want to go back home. You know, I've moved to Richmond, and I've got this house, and all this fucking stuff was building up, and I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? My dad was like, come on, mate, you know, look, we'll just pack that up, because that's going to remind you of her. Come and live with us, get on your feet, and so on. So moving away from Richmond felt like I was going backwards, felt like I lost. But coming back home, it was a good way. It, like, you know, I get everything I want here. My mum and dad spoiled me. I'm a mummy's boy. But what happened was, I came back here, and I died. I lost my way. I lost any motivation. I lost who I am. I lost my leadership. I lost my power. And I just become weak. I gave in. One negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, anger, pain, all that stuff really happened. You know, that's when the hoodie came on. And I'd walk around, JBs, I walk around now. People go, hey, Lee, how you going, man? You know, I become slow. I was just trapped in my head. You know, I was walking around like that. People, and I was taking so many fucking Xannies and all that. And I was a mess. I was just out of it. That's right, Andrew. Andrew goes, I knew you back then, and your transformation has made it incredible. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. And you did know me back then. Andrew lived next door to me, and me and him, you know, he's one of my old school friends, and love him to bits, man. And I you know, I'm so proud of you and your family. And you did know me back then. You did. And I know how worried you were about me. And I was just an absolute mess. And having my parents there, and then what happened was, I couldn't leave. I would watch movies, and then when I was watching movies, the movie would finish, and I'd get anxiety, and I'd have a panic attack, and I'd be, the movie finished, and I'd run outside and just fucking almost run out. One time I almost got hit by the car. I had to get out, and or you know, you fall asleep and then wake up and you don't know what's going on, and then I'm like, I just would emotionally eat. Like, I used to be lean, 8% body fat. I ended up putting 30 kilos on, and again, the beard. Walked around like this all day, you know. People would come and speak to me. I had tears rolling out my eyes, but no, I couldn't. I didn't reply back to him. I didn't speak, yeah. And then my dad doesn't know what to do, and the poor guy's got white hair, and his fucking hair's got even whiter, and he's, oh, go and see a doctor. And the doctor, oh, yeah, I have antidepressants, and these antidepressants made me even worse. Cybulta, yeah. They forced people that had schizophrenia. I didn't have schizophrenic. I wasn't depressed. So I was clinically, yeah. I went and got samples of my hair sent to America for my serotonin, for my whatever, dopamine, for all this stuff to go and check that. And it cost me thousands of fucking dollars. I got an MRI scan. I got this, I got that. I was clinically proven with manic depression, with a bipolar, and schizophrenia. Really? Do I look like I fucking have that now? Do I think that I got rid of that in the matter of, when I was started to do my work in the matter of months? Yeah? So I'm just going to tell you guys something. If anyone can relate to this, you guys need to get in contact with me, yeah? And I'm going to keep telling you the rest of this story. So as this was going on, I would just think about bad things, and you get into it. Oh, you have to do that. Then you get a message that oh, you have to pay this money and that money. I didn't communicate. But my partner, the ex, she took me to the fucking cleaners message, and it was just going off. Yeah, I'll just pay that. My mum would say, "Hey Lee, can you please sign this?" I would get that much anxiety from just signing something. Oh, no. I'll get angry. I'd grab the chair, punch the chair, not punch anyone, smash walls. And my dad's quite fiery as well. And he would say something, go, what? Break things, and it was fucking bad. I remember I hit things off, and the bloody, something hit my mum once and cut her head. Then I'm like, oh, I hate my life. And then what would happen was I would get in the car, drive aggressively, and I purposely smashed the car into a pole, and that was my first attempt of taking my life. And then I used to sit there, negative, all these negative thoughts. It was just all this negative stuff that was coming up. And it was all these things that were happening, and it was just negative, bad. And it just become fucking, do you know what I'm saying? It was just ridiculous. What did Mark say? He's laughing. I don't know if you find that funny, man. I didn't think I told a joke, dude. And, it just got to the point, and it was just fucking, it was quite bad. Let's skip forward a little bit. So this happened for 6 months. I had people coming to visit me. My parents are like, what do we do? I can hear them. They were stressing out. They're almost having a heart attack, so on and so forth. The thing about this is they used to like, oh, I don't know, he's going to fucking do something. So they would think, well, Lee, we have to, they wanted the police to take me somewhere so they could look after me. Then what they would do is they had the ambulance. They had people coming in here like I was some, freak. And they try to sedate me. And look, I was quite fucking still knowing. And I remember I had the paramedics try to hold me down to sedate me, to take me to hospital. My mum saying, what are you doing? This is not an animal. Throwing people off me, this and that, because I hurt one of the paramedics, the police come, yeah? And you get in these hot shot people. I had 8 cop cars come to my house, yeah? What does it say? My ex to the cleaners, con man. Okay, cool. And, so that's where it happened, yeah? I would lay here, I would watch UFC, I'd have my hoodie on, and I remember that I had these young policemen come in. This is how bad things got. And I'm sitting there with my hoodie on, and he goes, how you going, mate? And I looked at him. I said, what the fuck are you doing here? He goes, oh, we've just come to talk to you, mate. Just settle down. And he stood in front of the TV. And I said, what? I go, did I say you could fucking come in my room? Get the fuck out now before I grab the gun and shoot you all dead. That's what I said to him. And all of a sudden you hear the radio go, oh, and all of a sudden you can hear them, and they come in, they storm in, and there's about 10 coppers in my room. And here I am, sitting there, and I'm looked at him, and I said, you better fucking go. I was about to jump up, and I would have grabbed the gun off the guy. I said, you better get out. And I stood up, and it was going to be on for young and old. There was 10 police in my house. I could hear whoever was there, family or whatever, they were screaming. And luckily, the sergeant I used to play basketball against, yeah, he bursted in, he pushed everyone out, he closed the door behind me and him, and he just gave me a hug, and I just burst out with tears, yeah? I just burst out with complete tears. And do you imagine if I did do something like that? Because that's retaliation. There's 10 cops there. I'm either going to get belted or I would have got a bullet in my head. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking to get the gun, and I'm capable of grabbing the gun before he fucking even had a chance. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is how fucked up I got to the point. Come to think of it, and as we went on, and I come to a point at the end of the road, yeah? And without getting emotional, it was a fork at the end of the road. And I remember, as I told you throughout the times, I don't want to get into too many details, I took antidepressant sleeping pills, and I passed out for about 3 days, woke up in the hospital, got pumped, and there was another time I tried to gas myself in the car. But luckily I was fit enough, and someone was looking over me, and I was found. even thinking about that, I'll go, fuck, did that actually happen? You know, it's really hard to compute. Like, you know, my old program is not there. My new program is like, you know, how could that possibly happen? You're just so equipped now. So I come to a fork at the end of the road. And I got to a point when I said, I'm going to end up killing myself, or I'm going to end up hurting someone, yeah? And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? And at this time, I was getting a little bit better to the point where, you know, I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was in another brotherhood. I was hanging out with a lot of bikies because it was, you know, I was in so much pain, but it was like, you know, look at us and rah, rah, rah. And not all bikies are like that, but that's what I used it for. And I was going out with the wrong people, having too much drugs, wasn't working, wasn't making any money, wasn't helping anybody, yeah? And that was good when people were around, and I was around people, and I was helping people, and, you know, so on and so forth, and the party and the girls. That was only good to a point. But sorry, I do get a little bit worked up on this. I want to take this hoodie off because it doesn't suit me as well. Fuck the hoodies. And when people left, I'm like, I can't have this, and I'll get panic attacks, and I'll get anxiety. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I need to do something. And luckily, I was blessed with a great manager who used to be at the Crown, one of the operations managers. And I said, look, I'll try to come back to work. But you think that if you're mentally unstable and being in a security job, you can't really do that, or sparky and whatever. So they had me some roles to go there and do, you know, pick up the high-end people and slowly start to wind myself into helping people or getting back into it. I couldn't talk to anyone. I was so scared of just being around people, and I was timid, and, you know, I'm normally a joker and I'd make people laugh, but I was just so timid and so scared. And it took me about 3 months to even talk to people. Even what I'll do is I'll be sitting at the cafeteria and I'd be eating, looking around at people, and you can hear people going, oh, crazy, crazy, and stuff like that. Let alone, I used to jump around on the tables, jump and fucking sing, joke, go and just, you know, shit stir people. And do you know what I mean? I used to be the center of the attention. So, Jordan's in the house, that's right. And yeah, so it came to a point when I remember, and this is where I'm going to tell you the story where I met my beautiful fiance Regan, my angel now, who's my queen, and is going to be the mother of my children and my wife to be very soon. And so you can see I'm in a better state already. And I remember I slowly started to get back on my feet, yeah? I was believing in myself, and what really saved me was I started walking, but walking and thinking positive thoughts, yeah? Life's going to get better. You remember where you were, Lee? Come on, you can do this. And I had amazing support from my family. And I started going to the gym again. I started eating good food. And I started just to watch. I didn't know about mindset, didn't know about motivation, I didn't know about any of that. But I just started to exercise and I go, what made me smile? What made me happy? What, you know, and I started to feel good again. And so then I was at work and things started to come into place. It was 2% every day. And I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere now. And then I remember, because I was very good at my job, even in my weakened state, I was a lot better than a lot of other people. And I went back up to Club 23. And I remember I'm there with my manager at the time. His name's Chris, and he's a gay man. And at Club 23, if you guys know, we're standing where the DJ box is, and we're looking out. All the windows were open. It was a hot summer night, and I'm like, fuck, man, it's such a cool night, you know? It's a vibe. And we didn't go there to pick up. A lot of ladies used to come and talk to me and the rest of it, but we didn't go there to pick up. And that night, one of the waitresses, she was like, I know that she liked me, and she was like, oh, what are you doing after this? And I said, oh, look, we'll see what happens. So I was supposed to go home with her after, for anything that was going to happen. She just said, do you want to come and chill out? So anyway, I remember I'm standing there, and I'm a guy that used to like blondes. All my partners were blondes. All the girls I used to be with were blondes. But I always knew I was going to marry a brunette. Always knew it. It was a brunette. You know, class, brunette, blondes, just for fun. Not all of you. If there's blonde ladies on here, I know you're not all like that. And it was the way it worked out. Listen to this story. So Regan was there with her gay male friend. Yeah? Gay male friend, and I'm there with my gay male manager. And we're there, and it was one of these nights. And I remember Regan was looking at me. I kept looking at her. She kept busting me. I kept putting my head down. I kept busting her. It was like Moses would part the sea. Every time I would look somewhere, she would be there, yeah? So anyway, her gay friend ended up coming out. Kelly is going to take you out. So so what happened was that so Regan's gay friend came up to me and says, "Excuse me, my friend thinks you're really cute and hot." And I'm like, "Look, sorry, I'm not that way inclined." And then he goes, "Hold on a minute, either is she." So he brought Regan around. I went bright red in the face because that's who I was looking at. She came up and she's like, "What's your name?" "Oh, hi, I'm Regan." She goes, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Lee." We're bright red in the face. I've got the earpiece in. I've got coverage on me. The guys in control room are going, "You're blowing it, get out." So I'm fucking taking the earpiece out. I'm stumbling, and Regan goes, "Oh, I'll come and talk to you later." I'm like, I've fucking blown it. Let alone I'm getting my confidence back, and then there's this beautiful girl there and whatever, and so on and so forth. So anyway, she stayed to the end, at the end of 4 o'clock. That's when we closed up. And obviously her gay friend and my manager, they were fucking straight away. And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing after this?" And I said to her, "Oh, I'm probably going to go home." She goes, "Do you want to come just chill out?" And I said, "Oh, no, I'm in my tracksuit pants or whatever." And she was in this beautiful dress, because after we take our suit off, we're just in our trackies. She was in this beautiful gown. She goes, "I can just get changed as well." And it wasn't like, "Okay, let's go back to my house for, but it wasn't that. It was like, just come and chill out. Then the waitress that I was supposed to, and it was like, what do I do? What do I do? And Regan just said, "Here's my number. Let's catch up during the week." So I went, "Cool, fuck it." I was that confused. I'm like, what do I do? So I just end up going home. I'm like, do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, this chick is just too good to miss out on. So anyway, cut a long story short, throughout the week she tried to catch up with me. I was too scared because I'm still building my confidence up. So I made every excuse under the sun that I was too busy. So Sunday comes, and in Melbourne, there's a club used to be called Love Machine, or still is, and it was one of the biggest and baddest clubs in Melbourne. And it was on Sunday, it was a gay night. So we all went there, and it was quite funny. And I was a lot bigger than I am now. And Regan didn't know that I had so many tattoos, and I wore a pink T-shirt. And I remember when I went there, and Regan saw me, and she ran away. She got scared, and I'm like, fuck. So I've said to Chris, who's there, I'm like, man, they've done a runner on us. So we're upstairs in the VIP area, and they were like, "What do you mean done a runner?" I'm like, "They don't." He's like, "Oh, well, they mean you have to hook up there." And I said, "No, man, you just keep it above board, And then it was quite funny that Regan come over. I said, "What's wrong? Why are you scared of us?" Steve James goes, "Still is." It's not bad, man. It's not as how it used to be. So it was quite funny that she came over, and then I'm like, why are you bad? She goes, "I didn't realize that you're big and you got your tattoos." I'm like, "Is that bad?" She goes, "No, I love that, but it's startling." She goes, "I couldn't see that." So anyway, them two hook up, tongues in mouths and shit. And I'm like, I can't say anything. I'm in a gay club, which I'm not homophobe. I'm really cool with all that. And then obviously, bang. And then that's how me and Regan met. It was just, we met, we hit it off, we become best friends straight away. Take it 3 months. Regan and I moved in together after 3 weeks of knowing each other. She was living in Toorak Road. We ended up moving back to my parents' place because we're going to be doing some transition. I end up lapsing again. So what she helped me with, when I mean lapsing, getting very aggressive, fucking just not on her at all. And I remember I hit the perfume. I got all these aftershaves, and I hit it off here, and one of the lid hit Regan in the head and cut her head. And I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? I need to control myself. It just got into this rage where you just fucking started hating life. I'm not getting anywhere. But what it was, negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, negative thought, and I was drowning, yeah? And even having her here, and she said, "Lee, I want you to meet some friends. They do that mind reconditioning, yeah? They know how to help you. They can help you, and so on. Being around these people, they're going to help you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she started to do NLP courses. And I'm like, "What is this cult? What are you talking about, NLP?" And these guys that she was, introducing me to, because I was nowhere near who I am today or how successful I am mentally and anything else, I was so insecure. "Why are you being with these guys? Do you want to go and fuck them?" Like, I was insecure, so blame. But they're amazing men. I actually chilled out with them, and they're good mates with mine out in Queenstown. And I'm like, "Why do you want to do this? I don't want to fucking do that. I've got no money. These courses were 7, 8 grand, 10 grand. You have to go to Queensland. You have to go to San Francisco, so on and so forth." I said, I don't have money. And my parents were like, oh, you can't do this. What's he going to do it? And I was never, ever good at school. I could hardly type. I could hardly express myself. I could hardly write. I'm not going to fucking school. She goes, it's not school. Go and try it out there. They reprogram your mind. They make you think different. You're gonna discover how great you are. And I'm like, nah, this is fucked. I don't want to do it. And I lapsed again. The hoodie came on. I stopped going to work. Put on the weight. It just got fucking bad. Started taking the antidepressants again. So anyway, she said to me, look, you have to try. I've done it, Lee. I really care for you. I can't keep dealing with this. And this was about 6 to 3 months later. Work was about to put me off because they were saying, hey, how much time have you had off? And I'm like, fuck, I need to go and try it. So I remember getting on a plane by myself with the hoodie on, people looking at me and I'm like this, going back into that shell, losing my identity, losing my power, and completely just crippling my success. But I remember going to my first, it was in Coolangatta in Queensland. And I'm there, and there's ladies and men. And I remember going to these courses, and I'm like, fuck, man, these are just hippies. What is this, a cult? What is this NLP shit, The music's on, everyone's happy, and, let's jump around, and all that stuff. And I'm like, fucking hell, man, just get me out of here. And the positivity was just like, this is so fucking fake, man. Just life isn't this good, and that's my impression. And the teacher was a good friend of Regan's, and who became a really good friend of mine. And he knew a lot about me, and he directed a lot of his attention on me. I was like, for some reason, the experiment. And cut a long story short, we're there, and what we discovered with that, things started to change, started to click. He started to have these ha-ha moments. I remember, and I shared this at my retreat, and I'm going to share it with all of you now. Yeah. So I wasn't working. I was very emotionally aggressive. I was very just negative about a lot of things, and I was a big for nothing. Yeah. So he got me in front of the classroom, and this is when I talk about you do not take anything personally. You always look past what the person or what the mentor that really cares and loves you is actually saying to you, yeah? Look past it. So what you need to think about, and this is what he did to me, and I always say this to people, look past what is the lesson. Get away from your ego, drop your bullshit, and what is the lesson to everything in life. So he got me up in front of another big Kiwi guy. And I remember him, a really good looking guy. I'm like, what the fuck's he doing here? This guy played rugby for New Zealand. I'm 6'2", this guy's 6'4". Good looking, very switched on. He told this guy what to do. So we're standing this close, yeah? He goes, I want you to stand up and face Steve. I'm like, why? And I couldn't look at him in the eye. I could never look at anyone in the eye. I kept putting down, just my self-worth. I would feel intrusive, or I'd get embarrassed. I'd go right in the face. And he goes, stand there, look at Steve. And Steve, he wouldn't move. And I kept turning. He goes, Paul, and the teacher's name, Paul. He goes, don't look at me. Keep looking at Steve. And I'm like, 30 people around. I'm going bright red in the face. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, mate, like, you put on this big facade that, like tattoos, big guy, rah, 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 and all that. Look at you, man. You can't even look at another man in the eye. What sort of man are you? He goes, you've got a partner, Regan. I said, yeah, fucking leave her out of it. And he goes, how are you going to be a man? You've got no job, have you? I said, fucking, why do you have to tell everyone that? Oh, look at you. Why are you being so aggressive for, Lee? You're not a provider. You're aggressive. You're this, you're that. You're not a... Regan decides a better man than you, man. Like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, Lee? He was saying this in front of the whole classroom. I clenched my fist up, then I popped my knuckle, and it went like that. And I'm going red in the face. He goes, don't look at me. Keep looking at Steve. Keep looking at a real man. That is a real man in front of you. And he goes, man, you know what Regan needs? Maybe she needs a real man to give her a bit of this and fucking fix her up and fucking provide from her. How are you going to provide from her? You're just a fucking no-hoper. And I'm looking at him. He goes, so when are you going to do something different? And I tell you what, I had that many ideas how I was going to rip his head off, cut him up, and put him in the bushes. And then something happened. Something fucking happened that put me on the path I'm on today. What happened was, I sat there. Is he telling the truth? Yes. Am I being a fucking pussy? Yes. Am I being emotionally dependent? Yes. Am I? Yes, 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 yes. He is telling the truth about everything. What is the lesson? So but half of me wants to kill him. I'm going red. I'm sweating. And then half of me is going that he's telling me the fucking truth and I'm going to punch him in the face. And you know what happened? I kid you not, in my head, Eye of the fucking Tiger come on, a lightning bolt shot up, and I said, you know what? This motherfucker's right. Bring it on. I am going to change it. You are right. So I looked at Steve in the eyes. I stared at his eyes like this. I said, you are right. You just see, man, I'm fucking from this day on, there's going to be a new Lee. And I kid you not, as I'm feeling exhilarated now, I had goosebumps. I had a little bit of hair. My hair stood up. I said, it's fucking hammer time, man. You are right. He was right. He was leading me to say, hey, you are doing this. Why do you think I call myself the truth today? Why do you think I call myself the messenger of strength? Because of 5-6 years ago when he said, mate, you are fucking being a pussy. You are being a no-hoper. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Depression doesn't exist. Bipolar doesn't exist. You are making this shit up. Now go out there and make your fucking life. Go out there. Stop telling yourself these fucking excuses. You know, and he goes, what are you going to do now? And I remember I got up in front of the classroom and I couldn't speak to anybody. And that's what I thought. And I made a fucking speech and declarated this to the world. And I said, you know what? I am going to be a catalyst of fucking change. I'm going to be someone that makes a difference in this fucking world. I have been lying to myself. I've been hurting myself and I've been acting like a fucking pussy all this life. If you guys remember my name from 5 years from now, I'm going to be someone that's going to fucking sit here and doing what I'm doing now and be a catalyst of change and lead men and women to a greater existence because I've been in fucking pain. I've been in hurt. I've been down and that's it. And I said something very similar to that. And then from that fucking day, I knew when I was enlightened. And every day I get like this enlightened. I'm getting reborn. Sorry, just my computer keeps turning off. And I remember I said, not all days are great. And I'm like, I went back to my work, yeah, after that. Lucky I came back and there was questions, it was shit. And I'm like, I deserve better than this. I need to get out of this 9 to 5. These are energy vampires. The crab in the buck syndrome. They weren't enlightened. They just want to work and do the same and do linear. I'll work an hour, you pay me for an hour. Oh, I'm not helping anyone. Do you know what I mean? These people in the security business, they were in pain, so they wanted to hurt people, yeah? Oh, look at me, look at me. I'm like, and I remember I would go to work, but I knew I've got a plan. I've got an exit plan. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get myself out of this. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to be able to grow. Just give me a second. I'm just going to put my... Sorry, guys. I just want to quickly, because I don't know... It gives a bit of light, you know, so on and so forth. So, awesome. You did your first NLP course. It is. That's fucking absolute crazy. And from that time, I knew. And what happened was, I got isolated from the group. From the Crown, yeah? I wasn't invited to Christmas parties because I was saying, no, we're better than this. I'm getting out of here. Why are you leaving, man? What are you trying to create? What are you doing? This is, you know, you're never going to make it. Stop fucking doing that. Rah, rah, rah. And then they even created a Facebook page about me. Fucking this and that. Lee thinks he's fucking better. Rah, rah, rah. And those people, who do you think have been some of my clients? Who do you think have knocked on my door? They isolated me and I thanked them. I thanked that guy that didn't give me the job back then. That when I was supposed to get married, that gave me the ass. Yeah, I thank him. I thank my ex for being who she was. So then look where I am now. I thank and bless everyone that I thought that was doing a bad thing, but they were actually leading me to this fucking path right now. Yeah, they were, because if I didn't break up with my ex, I wouldn't be with Regan. If I didn't go through all that fucking heartache and pain, I wouldn't be where I am now. But one thing that I will fucking promise you all is that I had no one like me. Yeah? I had no one to say, hey man, don't go down that path, it fucking hurts. Don't do this. Stop doing that. Yes, my parents would tell me being parents, but they didn't have a big brother like I am to you all. Do you know what I'm saying? They didn't have someone to say, don't do that, you're going to fucking burn. Don't do that, that's going to fucking lead you down the road. You're going to fall in a hole. So that's why I'm doing this. You know, I've been talking to you for an hour and 20 minutes. That's why I'm a person of contribution. That's why, you know, I lead with the fucking truth. You can tell me anything and I can tell you all anything. That's why I don't give a fuck about what any motherfucker says, or someone goes, hey man, how are you qualified? And I said, listen, I can show you all my fucking qualifications, or I can tell you my fucking life. What is more, a certificate that is a work shit, or I can tell you about my life, yeah? Like I'm telling you all about my life. There's no glitz and glamour. I don't want any pity. Speak to my parents what I've fucking been through. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm about. And that's why I've committed myself to empowering others, telling people the truth, not telling people what they want to hear, tell people what they need to hear, yeah? That's why I'm so fucking passionate about what I do. That's why we're about getting results, and that's what it's about, yeah? So I've done this on purpose because I've done a lot of live streams. I've been around the world, been in Hollywood, been in here, been in there. Now I've brought you back to where it all started, yeah? And again, trust me, when I lay in that bed, when I laid in it last night, I'm like, looking around, I'm like, fuck, it feels pretty weird. But what I, you know, even being here, and what I can congruently say is, look how far I've come, yeah? And people probably don't know this as well. Where Beast Mode came about was that I got to bodyguard Arnold. I got to bodyguard Arnold when he was here about 5 years ago at the Financial Summit, which was one of the good friends of mine, Jamie McIntyre, who was the guy that I told you about, was Regan's boss, and so on and so forth. And you will see us in October, brother, and you'll get to experience this in real life. And I really look up. How could I say this? That I got to look after Arnold, and this is when I left my 9 to 5, and I was actually personal training people. But I was personal training people and doing mindset. And what I left out with the story was Regan was giving me the money when she didn't have it. My parents were giving me the money of stuff as well. And look at the amounts of people's lives you're helping. That's it, man. And we're just beginning, Leroy. We're just beginning. And I'm so, you know, everyone that's on here, all my brothers that are on here, I'm so grateful to have you in my life. And all the ladies that are on here and all the people that, you know, just in my environment and been watching this, I really appreciate you all. So once I left there, and I don't want to keep boring you with this, I just wanted to give you an understanding, was that I remembered that I looked after Arnold, yeah? And he came up to me when I was looking after him in the green room. He goes, young man, he goes, what do you do? I said, what do you mean, what do I do? And I'm seeing him like, this is my Arnold, and I've gone, you know, like, I'm just sort of getting there, and I wasn't confident at all. And I said, oh, look, he goes, what do you mean? He goes, I can tell this is not what you do. What do you really do? And I said, oh, look, I've started this thing called Beast Mode Australia. And people go, why did you call it Beast Mode? And if you look at my NLP book, it talks about your internal drivers to your peak state, from procrastination into motivation, into extreme, into your peak state. And peak state was called Beast Mode. And I never knew what I called it 5 years ago. And then when I was creating this, I was going through and I was talking, you know, me and Regan and her ex-business partner, we were just talking about stuff. And I'm like, I want to get men into their peak state. I want men to be in their true, authentic selves and to unleash their masculine. And people go, why are you just working with men? And I'm like, I've never been a woman. And I'm talking about my congruent as a man, where I've failed, where I've been down, where I've been suicidal, and I've taken, and I'm like, fuck, man, if I can get myself out of this value, out of this dark time, this is some huge value. The world needs to know about this. Something up there, something in here was saying, you need to share this with the world. And the better I get at sharing this, and the better I get at being me, the more lives I'm impacting. And Arnold told me, I don't know if you heard this story, and he said, when I was in Austria and I wanted to be a bodybuilder because I saw the magazines, everyone would say, Arnold, just be, you know, a farmer like your dad. Don't worry about this. But he was obsessed. He's the one that told me about, don't have an idea, have an obsession. Be crazy about it. Successful people are crazy obsessed. Unsuccessful people, they have ideas, yeah? And he says that I would just train, I'll lift boulders. He goes, I couldn't even ride my bike to, you know, back home. I'd fall off because my arms were that numb. Then he went to America because he saw that's where the big bodybuilders were. That's where more people were. And then he become the best bodybuilder because he just trained and he become obsessed with it, so on and so forth. And he become the best bodybuilder ever. Then he's like, how can I impact people? I want to get out there and get my message across. He become an actor. Everyone said, Arnold, you never become an actor because of your accent. You don't speak, you're not American. What got him famous? I'll be back. His accent, exactly. Then he wanted to impact more people in the world. How did you do that? He became the governor. He said to me, he left me with these words. He goes, what I want you to do, if you remember anything, he goes, I want you to just do what is you. And that's what he said. He goes, do what is you. And I didn't get what he meant. And then I'm like, do what is me. And what is me is that I have discovered a formula. I have discovered a method that I've been in a dark time, and I bless it. And I truly bless it. Because my life isn't always roses and rainbows. It goes up and down. But what I become obsessed with education. I become obsessed. And I told you that I couldn't type. I couldn't spell my name. I couldn't communicate. Now sometimes, I get a little bit caught up in my head and whatever, but who cares? It doesn't need to be polished. There's no such thing as polish. I had one guy one day on my live stream count in between my words. I said, you know. And I said, okay, man, what was my message? He didn't even know what my message was. So I said, you know what? Nicely, go fuck yourself. And I did say that. I go, you don't even speak, your English is not even your first word. If you're concentrating, and you're not listening to my message, then I want you to get out of my environment now. Do you know what I'm saying? What you do in one area, you look at it, you do in all. If you look for problems, you're going to get them. Do you know what I mean? So what I say with that is, I didn't know how to do that. Now I can type without even looking at the keyboard. So there's so many messages that I'm giving to you guys and to you ladies here. And what the message is, discover your power. Discover you. I've just told you about a raw story. People have heard parts of my story. This is where, as you can see, I tried to kill myself on that bed. Twice. Yeah? Or actually once there, and then gas myself in there. Like, so I've tried to gas in around here so you have an understanding. That was my mum. So what I want to share you with, if anyone has been through this or is going through this, you need to get in contact with me. You need to, or if it's not me, someone that can help you. I'm sharing this with you. I've taken you into my room where it's all happened. I'll take you for, it's a bit messy. It's a bit messy because no one lives here anymore, obviously, but I'm here now, and I'm making it more messy. And this is something that actually, I won't say it's embarrassing, but it was a very raw point. Yeah, it's somewhere, and I know I come across a lot of you, and I know I come across a lot of you that are in pain. Doesn't need to be that way. Don't be in pain tomorrow. You can stop it. I've discovered the strategies, constantly building myself, becoming obsessed with, it doesn't need to be NLP. NLP is just something that I learned which made a huge difference. It pre-frames you, because the thing is, people can talk, oh yeah, you're a motivator. I'm not a fucking motivator. I'm the person that's going to give you messages and it's going to give you the truth. You need to change your programming. NLP changes your programming so you think and act differently. Because you can see a motivator, oh yeah, I'm all fucking feel fantastic, but then you go back to your old ways because your programming is still the same. Do you know what I mean? I always say you're a Ferrari. You're in a Ferrari, but if your engine isn't good, you're not going to get to where you want to go. And that's what it's about. It's about reprogramming yourself, yeah? And what I say is, these services and everything that we've created, it's not okay to go in there. What it is, it's all recreation. It's all identity recreation, getting you to think a certain way, getting you to become that person. I couldn't do this 5 years ago, speaking here with passion from my fucking heart in my heart center. I couldn't tell you what happened then. I used to think about my ex, and I used to get this red rash on my face and, wanted to throw up and fucking I'll just get angry or have a panic attack. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm really, really honored to have all you people on. There's at times there's been 60 people on here watching, and I don't know how many people have viewed it. I really, and what I say is, if there's anyone out there that unfortunately, that is going through the same thing, put them in contact with me or get them to watch this video to inspire them, yeah? This is something that, you've seen me in my beautiful villas, you've seen me in Hollywood, you've seen me in this. Now you've seen me real raw and basically very vulnerable, yeah? And I don't do it to get any pity. I do it because I want to talk to you about, I'm someone is just like you. We're all real people, yeah? We're all real people, and if I can do it, you can do it, yeah? Because I tell you what, I had to come from behind the fucking 8 ball. I had to slog it out. I had to fucking fight, and I did. I lapsed and so on and so forth. And what saved me? Having a beautiful family, having my amazing queen, but more importantly saying, I'm not going to fucking give up, and I want to give back to the world. And that's what I'm doing now. Every day I'm going to continue to get better. Every day I'm going to continue to grow. There's some days I do fall down. Some days I am weak, but we're humans, yeah? But what I want to say is, please, fuck this push-up shit. Oh, 22 push-ups. Fucking well done. That does nothing. messages like this, real messages, speaking to people like me that can actually get into people's minds and change it, that's what's going to fucking save life, not fucking push-ups, yeah? So if there's anyone in your life that can benefit from this, share it. Share it on your pages. Let's make this go fucking viral. Not because, hey, look at Lee, let's put it up on his post, but people need to hear this message. People need to hear how dark I've been. There's not many people that have been as low as me. So let's come together. Let's fucking really save lives. Fuck this push-up thing. And let's go out there and we can be fucking better people. Do you know what I'm saying? And together, we will grow. As Paulie says it, alone we're unique, together we're unstoppable. So this is a message of the truth. This is a message that's going to make a fucking difference, because my brothers that are coming in my environment are growing, making me so much stronger. They're ladies, they're queens, and the way we're all going to grow together if we come out and do this. Do you know what I'm saying? So thank you very much. You all know who I am. I don't need to say all my little things, and all that stuff. You know that I'm the messenger of strength, and I always will love you, and I'll lead you with the truth. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Thank you so much for, experiencing this where it was a really dark time 5 years ago. You wouldn't have thought of me the same way. Do you know what I'm saying? Brotherhood strong. Thank you for everyone coming in. Thank you for my time, for your time, and thank you for listening, and so on and so forth. So, sending you my love, and like I said, don't let this message just fall on this live stream. Let's share it to the world. Let's sponsor it. Let's get it out there, because I'm sure we can save some lives. Even if we save one life, even if we set someone on the right path, we're doing good things. And thank you for all the loves and love hearts. I really appreciate it, yeah? Thank you. Have a good night, and I'll be seeing you all soon. Take care.